Alright, welcome back to a new video, and of course this one will be about the July 15th bout between Frank the Ghost Martin versus his toughest opponent yet. And he faces Artem, his last name don't matter, but he is a bronze medalist. That's right, an Olympic bronze medalist. And another good fight, the opener being Elvis Rodriguez versus Victor Postal, which is going to be a very interesting fight, to say the least. But of course, well, we're going to start with Rodriguez versus Postal. So of course, Elvis Rodriguez is 14-1-1 with 12 knockouts. This man is a power puncher. And of course, he is coming back after his majority decision victory in the crossroads battle between Joseph Adorno, who did fight the week before against Edwin De Los Santos. I mean, he did get kind of bodied in a shutout victory. So I don't know how good that win is compared to Rodriguez, which is a weight class higher and basically the same knockout ratios De Los Santos, but still a good win, right? And he is, of course, fighting Victor Postal, being 31-4, right? With one loss coming by way of knockout, but we'll talk about that later. He, of course, I think was the former champion that I know of. And he is coming off of 2 losses, one being a majority decision loss to Jose Ramirez, who had seen better days afterwards, and his TKO loss, controversial TKO loss, to Gary Antoine Russell. Why is it controversial? Because if I am correct and I remember it, there was like 30 seconds left in the final round. I mean, he did catch Postal. Let's not say you couldn't make an argument, but this man went up against some very strong power punchers. His first loss came to Terrence Crawford. That's right, Terrence Crawford. You know, the knockout artist. Josh Taylor, the undisputed super lightweight world champion. I mean, not anymore. You know, he lost the belts and lost to Teofimo Lopez. So, still a really good fighter, right? And then he also lost to Jose Ramirez. Basically, nothing but the top guys. And then Gary Antoine Russell with a 100% knockout ratio comes out and says, okay, let me fight him. And even though he's never been knocked out before, they gave him the TKO loss with 30 seconds left in the final round. I mean, could have things gone bad? Yes, but with 30 seconds in the fight, you could just hold or even just take a knee, and that would have been good enough, and he would have ended Gary Russell's 100% knockout streak. But whatever, man. But how do I think it's gonna go? Well, of course, it's Rodriguez. It's for Rodriguez to win, and if I'm correct, they're both trained by Freddie Roach, which will be very interesting, because what happens after round 1? He goes to Postal's corner. All right, man, Rodriguez is trying to figure you out. He's out here throwing this and this. You got to do this and this, and you got to specifically do this. And in 30 seconds, like halfway point of the break, he just walks to the other side of the ring. Yo, Elvis Rodriguez, you won't believe what I heard in the other side, in the other corner, man. You ain't going to believe what I heard. And then he just spills the beans. Nah, just playing. Nah, they probably just gonna flip a coin and see who gets Freddie Roach in their corner. But of course, I think it is set up for Rodriguez to win, which, hey, that could set up a fight with Gary Antoine Russell. Hey, maybe Rodriguez can avenge his fellow stablemate after whooping him, right? But of course, that will be a very interesting bout, unless Rodriguez does the same thing he did with Adorno and do nothing for half the fight. Then it'll be very boring. But let's hope that's not the case. And of course, the main event being Frank Martin versus Artem. Of course, Frank Martin is 17-0 with 12 knockouts, with a knockout percentage of 70%, and coming off of a career high win, beating the undefeated Michel Rivera with a dominant unanimous decision. You know, I called that fight. No one believed me, but then again, the way I made that video, who would believe me, right? And of course, he is facing his second undefeated opponent back-to-back. He'll be fighting another undefeated opponent, being Artem, and you could read the last name yourself. I'm sorry, who is a Olympic bronze medalist. That's right, a bronze medalist, which means third best in the world at the time. And of course, he himself is undefeated. And of course, Artem has a record of 12-0 with 7 knockouts. Not that bad of a knockout ratio. He has some pop, some people might say. Not a knockout artist, but he definitely can pack a punch. And he's coming off of some, I would say, decent wins too. One loss, undefeated. 3 losses, 4. Okay, maybe not 4 losses, but the other ones don't seem too bad, right? And of course, who do I think is gonna win this one? Well, of course, I gotta cheer from my man Frank Martin. Can you not believe that? Why would I cheer for him last time and not cheer for him this time? I do think Artem will be the toughest opponent for Frank Martin. I mean, Rivera was good, but the way Martin handled him, it did not look that way. I think Artem will be in there and give Martin a run for his money. To be honest, I'm not going to say he's going to win. I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. But with him being recorded as 2 inches shorter than Rivera, therefore being closer to Martin's height, I do think Martin whoops him. I think he stops him. Because, he couldn't stop Rivera because how big he is. I mean, look at him. But I think Artem being smaller, I think that would play more in a Martin's, range, and he can actually take him out. Do I think it's gonna be something spectacular? It could be. It actually could be. I would not be surprised if he dominates this guy too. But I say he knocks him out in the 10th round. That's right, the 10th round. Because like I said, Artem is smaller than Rivera, and but a better boxer. I think he is a better boxer than Rivera. And to be honest, I think Artem will cause a lot of trouble for Martin, but I think Artem's like half the speed of Martin, so I think that will play a significant role and the power. So it could be competitive for like the first 4 rounds, maybe even 5 rounds, but after that, I think Martin's speed and power will be able to break down Artem and take him out in the 10th round, which then will be another career high win. Although not known. Artem's not really that known. Olympic bronze medalist is a really good name to put on your resume. And of course, after this, who do I want to see him fight? Well, I want to see him fight Pitbull, but Pitbull don't seem like he want to fight anyone at this point. I mean, he is fighting an undefeated pillow-handed fighter, so that's something. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight De Los Santos, who fought last week. Another 135-pounder. Shakur Stevenson, which is top ranked, but I think something can happen there. Maybe William Zepeda too. I want to see that fight too. But that's in the future. For all we know, Martin just ends up just fighting someone else and not any of the big names. But who knows? But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. And of course, the next video will be also a July 15th bout between the Kingpin tournament. Actually, it's the Kingpin tournament that is now on DAZN after declaring bankruptcy. So that's something. And of course, it is the semi-finale to see who fights each other in the finale. Hope you stick around for that fight. And of course, after that is the Stephen Fulton versus Naoya Inoue, or Inoue, right? The Fulton Inoue fight. And after that, of course, it is the biggest fight, one of the biggest fights of this year. Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford for the undisputed welterweight crown. It's going to be a really great fight. But anyways, like I said, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.